and it's really a pleasure to be here in this important company, wonderful company, Electrobras. I will first start by saying why is it such a pleasure for being in Rio, and it's not because there are wonderful beaches and amazing people, all of that is true, great energy. But it's particularly special for us, and why it's an important milestone for the One Planet Network, it is that in a way we're coming back home. We were born as an agreement that was adopted at the Rio Plus 20 conference, which was held here in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. And therefore I think that we should all bear in mind the significant importance, the milestone that such a moment brings, and the importance that it has that today we are convening all of us together around the vision of shaping a global circularity protocol for business. And we will get to that, and we will understand in the course of this afternoon that you have decided to invest here. What is it? For who is it? How will it work? And when will it happen? But most importantly, what it can change. And this is, I think, why for me it's extremely important. Because I believe that today, this first regional consultation and the steps that have been taken before are going to be inscribed in important milestones of sustainability, in which the discussion on how private sector companies have embraced circular economy or sustainable consumption and production in their operations, how they are valuing it, how they are adopting inclusive models and approaches, and also how investors are looking at circularity will be transcendental. So think of this as one of those moments that we will come back and we will see the efforts that you have all invested, how are they paying, and how are we helping shape more sustainable business. It's also relevant because we are owning here from the perspective of the South and companies that are active in the global South, and Brazil is leading as part of its G20 agenda a new paradigm of appreciating and embracing circular economy or processes that have to do, for example, with circular bioeconomy as important pathways to achieve three important goals. I would say the first one, that it's critical, is not only to do good business, but to create sustainable growth in a way that we bring on board those in the society that have been cut off from economic development. And hearing those stories on how private sector companies here in Brazil, in Latin America, and in other countries that are present here today are bringing on board the perspective of indigenous communities, the perspectives of the youth, the perspectives also of women-led development, it's absolutely critical. And for advancing the circular economy agenda, this can be, and this has to be, more than just about enhancing productivity and creating greater value. Value has to be shared. The second element, what I believe is important, it is that we are also embarking on a process in which we are finding the solutions. They are not always where we always think. And I was inspired a month ago when I came here for a preparatory visit of the One Planet Network Forum to learn how far ahead are think tanks here in Brazil, reflecting, measuring, accounting, valuing circular economy processes. And therefore there are lessons here that we want to take forward and make them inclusive. Last but not least, and this is where I will start wrapping up my opening remarks, this is very much about developing a systemic approach. And why we say this? As we move towards a circular economy process, we stop looking at the end product. We start valuing the service. We start thinking of new ways of providing a life of dignity for all. And this is where we are excited to spend a couple of hours today hearing from your perspective, whether you come from a non-governmental organization, you come from a private sector industry, or you come from a government perspective, how first of all, what have you learned? And second, how are we shaping this paradigm of a linear economy towards one that is more circular? And by being more circular, it's more about that redistribution, that sharing, and that perspective that is a regenerative economy. I will conclude by having a few words of thanks. First and foremost, our wonderful hosts of Electrobras who have provided these wonderful facilities, and not only that, have also taken forward this important agenda in their own operations. And we're blessed to be here and to hear the experiences, and I am very much looking forward to hear the perspective of Electrobras. Second, it is the wonderful partners that we have in Brazil, particularly the CEBETS coalition of sustainable and leading environmentally minded companies that are paving the way and leading by example in shaping of a more sustainable way of making business. And last but not least, and this is why I'm very pleased to be here with my friend Quentin Drowell and all the team in the World Business Council on Sustainable Development, who have really put that muscle behind in ensuring that, and this is what I am really proud and excited about this effort, it is not only that we create a methodology to preach to others, but actually the work that we are doing, it has been validated by, I would say, 50% of your membership. Am I exaggerating? You will speak about that. 50% of the membership of the World Business Council on Sustainable Development, which are major, large, multinational companies, are willing to make commitments, and to not only make the commitments, but get them measured. And this is why we feel encouraged of advancing on a global circularity protocol for business that will actually help us measure, help us value, and help us redistribute. So thank you very much on behalf of the One Planet Network, and I hand the floor back to my colleague Adriana. And colleagues, please welcome, and thank you for joining us.